The smell of popcorn and waffle cones, pink clouds of cotton candy, the squeal of delighted children, the ringing of a bell announcing another winner, that sense of excitement and dread when your stomach leaps into your throat as you look down from atop the first drop of a roller coaster. These are just a few of the memories many of us have of our first time going to an amusement park. For many San Diegans, these memories conjure up weekend trips to Mission Beach. On May 30th, 1925, the Mission Beach Amusement Center was officially opened. The opening would mark a major turning point not only in the evolution of the Mission Beach community, but of all of San Diego. The man behind the Mission Beach development was John D. Spreckels. Spreckels had come to San Diego in 1887 and had quickly become a prominent developer and booster of San Diego. Spreckels invested not only in the utilitarian needs of the city, such as transportation, water, and power, but also sought to improve the aesthetic quality of life through such endeavors as the Hotel del Coronado, Balboa Park, Mission Cliffs Gardens, and Mission Beach. Prior to the park's opening, the area now known as Mission Beach was a barren strip of sand and salt marsh protecting Mission Bay from the Pacific Ocean, which held little attraction apart from some interest by naturalists, bird watchers, and duck hunters. In June of 1914, encouraged by the success of land sales in nearby Ocean Beach and Pacific Beach, a syndicate of businessmen and investors formed the Mission Beach Company and filed a subdivision map with the San Diego County Recorder's Office. The Mission Beach development was to be a planned resort community that extended the full length of the peninsula, from Pacific Beach Drive to the southern tip at the mouth of Mission Bay. The plan was very progressive for its time. There were provisions for separate housing, with each residential area requiring all homes to have a specified minimum construction cost. Commercial zoned areas were planned at various distances along the main street, Mission Boulevard, with the largest one centered at the midpoint of the peninsula. Early plans for this central zone included a hotel, a tent city, as well as other attractions that would provide residents and visitors with many leisure activities. The planned resort community was considered to be so advanced for its time that more than a decade later, the 1914 Mission Beach subdivision plan won honors at the second annual Exhibition of Landscape Architects held in Los Angeles in 1925. Unfortunately, early lot sales were slow, and apparently this delayed the progress of work on public facilities. A number of factors contributed to this situation. First, the initial stage of development was put on the market during the turbulent and uncertain financial period associated with World War I. Second, the real estate values in San Diego had been falling since the peak of the 1912 boom. Third, the flood of 1916, which caused major damage throughout San Diego and further disrupted the local economy. The extent of the storm damage throughout San Diego County can be seen in these photographs. Additionally, financial losses incurred by Spreckels and his other business ventures further complicated the situation, forcing him to sell off a portion of the land in northern Mission Beach to J.M. Asher. From June of 1916 to 1922, Asher's Mission Beach Village in the northern business zone between Santa Clara Place and San Rafael Place was the only development performed in Mission Beach. The area, which later would become known as Old Mission Beach, included a small bathhouse, a children's pool, a playground, and a cafe. Drawing upon the success of Spreckels' Coronado Tent City, Asher subdivided the area into small lots, upon which a tent city along with a few cottages and bungalows were constructed. Asher's mini development, however, was aimed at the seasonal visitor and not the permanent homeowner. Although Asher has been referred to as the father of Mission Beach, none of his developments still stand. The tent city was dismantled in 1922 in response to new, stricter city codes regarding temporary housing. The bathhouse, pool, and playground on Redondo Court, once an icon of Old Mission Beach, were torn down in the 50s, replaced eventually by a parking lot, and still later by condominiums. By the 1920s, the economy in San Diego had begun to turn around, and the cost of further development of Mission Beach now seemed more feasible. Although Spreckels had not been the prominent figure behind the earlier development efforts of the Mission Beach Company, in 1922 he assumed a more direct role after buying out several of the other investors. Spreckels would retain two key elements of the original business plan for the development of Mission Beach: the selling of residential lots, and the modernization and improvement of public transportation for the community. But Spreckels would also expand on the earlier plans. Most importantly, Spreckels would implement the construction of a large amusement center in the heart of Mission Beach. With the improvement of the business climate in San Diego in the early years of the 20s, the Spreckels' interests directed their sales of lots in Mission Beach to two groups of buyers: the investor and the permanent home seeker. This sales brochure from 1924 reflects the types of appeals that Spreckels made toward potential buyers in the ensuing advertising campaign. Mission Beach was portrayed in such brochures as a dream city in the making, alive with activity. Mission Beach would become, the brochure claims, Southern California's most alluring all-year residential playground, where the joys of the modern amusement center will be blended with the pleasures and comforts of a real home life. Other advertisements also made appeals to the permanent home seeker, asking parents, "Where is your home going to be?" and answering the question with Mission Beach, where it is healthful, and where there is an environment and safety for the children. Another advertisement described Mission Beach as a home for the kiddies, where every day is an adventure in endless happiness. Through such advertisements, Mission Beach was portrayed as an idealized vision of what life could be like when one was living in a playground under the sun. The second part of Spreckels' plan for developing Mission Beach was something that he strongly believed in: good, reliable, and fast transportation. Spreckels had for a number of years owned the San Diego Electric Railway, which operated streetcars throughout San Diego. Spreckels firmly believed in the importance of transportation, saying, "Before you can hope to get people to live anywhere, no matter how desirable the locality may be, you must first of all show them that they can get there quickly, comfortably, and above all, cheaply." This series of maps show how, from 1901 to 1925, Spreckels continually expanded his rail lines throughout the city, and Mission Beach was no exception. At a cost of $3,500,000, Spreckels upgraded the streetcar service to Mission Beach by installing a double-track express line from downtown San Diego to Ocean Beach and then north to Mission Beach and La Jolla. This line would become known as Number 16 and would continue service until 1940, when it finally succumbed to the rise of the automobile as the public's preferred method of transportation. Spreckels understood, however, that simply building a streetcar line to Mission Beach alone could not ensure that the public's interest would be aroused. Spreckels needed a spectacle with which he could capture the imagination of the public, as Balboa Park and Spreckels' Mission Cliffs Gardens had done previously. The tool that Spreckels would sell the fantasy of life in Mission Beach to the public with would be the Mission Beach Amusement Center. The Mission Beach Amusement Center encompassed a 33-acre area in the middle of the Mission Beach Peninsula. The architecture of the amusement center was done in the Spanish Renaissance style, which had been used at Balboa Park for the 1915 Panama, California exposition. By selecting to emulate this style, Spreckels cemented the connection between Mission Beach and San Diego, creating a permanent fair atmosphere and extending the spirit of the exposition into the very soul of the community. The center originally featured attractions on both the bay and ocean side of Mission Boulevard, but the most popular attractions were situated on the ocean side and included a massive bathhouse, the dance hall, and the fun zone, complete with rides and games. The bathhouse, which would later become known as the Mission Beach Plunge, or just the Plunge, ran along 150 feet of oceanfront boardwalk. When the bathhouse first opened, it held two pools, a 60 by 175 foot illuminated pool with the capacity of 400,000 gallons of salt water, and a smaller 20 by 60 foot kiddies pool. A massive filtration system constantly recirculated the water in the pools at a rate of 60,000 gallons an hour. The San Diego Union declared it to be the largest, finest bathhouse in the country. The bathhouse, however, was not a place to simply go and cleanse oneself. It was a melting pot of social interaction, where men and women could enjoy the cool waters together. At its opening, the girls of the Silver Crescent Club, young women employed by the Spreckels companies, were on hand to help christen the new pool. The bathhouse attracted many visitors over the years, including celebrities from nearby Hollywood, such as Johnny Weissmuller, seen here, who had played Tarzan in the movies. The pool was renovated in the 1940s when the salt water had corroded the pipes, and it was then converted to fresh water, becoming the largest heated indoor pool in Southern California. The Mission Beach Dance Casino, the next major attraction completed, would remain a popular attraction for many years. Situated next to the bathhouse, the two-story dance hall building was 290 feet by 142 feet and held 2 stories. The large building contained a 20,160 square foot hardwood dance floor and a large stage for an orchestra. A cafe served the balcony on the second floor, which encircled the dance floor, allowing spectators views from above of the dancers and the 14-piece Mission Beach Orchestra, led by Cliff Webster. Dancing to the music of large bands was a popular form of entertainment for Americans from the 1920s through World War II. Thursday nights would be extremely popular at the dance hall, and crowds would gather for special events such as dance contests and themed parties. While the bathhouse and dance hall provided opportunities for entertainment and socialization, the focal point of the amusement center was the fun zone. Original plans for the area were to be based largely on the Luna Park layout and amusements of Coney Island. However, a management change in December of 1924 changed the direction of the construction plans. Along the midway, there were many rides and attractions for kids of all ages, including a Ferris wheel, miniature train, shooting gallery, and the Luna Park-themed funhouse. Near the center of the fun zone stood a magnificent carousel. Built by the Spillman Engineering Company for $25,000, it featured 68 hand-carved horses with jewel-encrusted bridles and draped blankets, ornamented with sunflowers and lions' heads. The carousel also featured a Stinson 165-piece military band organ, the largest carousel band organ on the West Coast, with more than 1,500 marches and waltzes in its repertoire. In 1937, the carousel was replaced with a smaller version that can still be ridden today. The original Spillman carousel was moved to Griffith Park in Los Angeles, where it is still in operation. Dominating the fun zone area, and what would become the most famous of the Mission Beach attractions, was the Giant Dipper roller coaster. Designed by noted coaster builders Frank Pryor and Frederick A. Church, the massive wooden coaster was 2,600 feet long and 75 feet tall at its highest point. It seems appropriate that Spreckels, with his fondness for transportation and technology, would choose to construct this behemoth of wood and steel rails as the crowning piece of the amusement center. Indeed, the coaster itself can be seen as a usurping of the utilitarian for the aspirations of pleasure. In 1921, Fred Church, who can be seen here waving as he rides his creation, had patented a new type of coaster car, which had articulated couplings. The two-seater cars, set on flanged wheels and coupled together with a ball and socket joint, could negotiate sharper turns at higher speeds than earlier coaster car designs. One of the original cars has been preserved in the Belmont Park gift shop and museum. Two 6-car trains carried their delighted riders as they twisted their way along the tracks of the Giant Dipper at 45 miles per hour. Following the opening of the Mission Beach Amusement Center, local residents who had decided to build permanent homes in Mission Beach began to form a small, tight-knit community. Local clubs started to be formed, such as the Mission Beach Women's Club, founded in 1924. The Mission Beach Women's Club is still an active social and charitable organization today. Also still active is the Mission Bay Yacht Club, which was founded in 1927 by members of the prominent Scripps family. Organizations such as the Mission Beach Women's Club and Yacht Club exemplify the combination of the leisure lifestyle and the domestic that has come to define the Mission Beach way of life. By 1930, the Mission Beach population had reached an estimated 2,000 residents. However, due to the large number of people who had purchased lots from Spreckels as investments, for many years, Mission Beach developed in a sort of checkerboard or patchwork pattern. By 1930, there were approximately 365 permanent homes on the peninsula, out of the reported 1,800 lots which were sold in 1925. By 1940, that population had reached an estimated 2,900 in approximately 570 structures. By 1950, the population was 3,691, and a total of 1,328 residences. Population was not the only thing that increased in Mission Beach following the construction of the amusement center. Property values were on the rise too. Lots which sold from $350 to $1,500 in 1925 increased to values of $4,000 to $10,000 by 1940. Property values in the area continued to climb over the years as people were attracted to the small neighborhoods. For example, a one-bedroom cottage, which in 1930 was listed on the U.S. Census as being valued at $2,500, sold in 2010 for $470,000. Yet the very appeal of the beach community would begin to undermine the appeal of a permanent residence. And beginning in the 1940s, the population of Mission Beach began a shift away from home ownership and had become essentially a renter's community. It was in the late 1940s and into the 1950s that the landscape of the area began to change as Mission Bay dredging and expansion enabled the city to add more land and recreational space and build Fiesta Island at the same time. The Mission Bay expansion would continue Spreckels' vision of an aesthetically pleasing community. The city's first dredging operation commenced in early 1946 and created the area then known as Gleason Point, now Bahia Point. Between 1946 and 1956, the city completed dredging in the West Bay, west of Ingram Street, at the same time creating some new land areas with dredged material. In addition, a narrow channel was dredged in the East Bay to De Anza Cove, the point of which was created by dredged material. The dredging of Mission Bay was not without controversy. In 1956, when the City Engineering and Planning Department announced its intention to discard millions of yards of undesirable soil and material into the ocean, there was a considerable public outcry. Public hearings were held, and it was decided that the excess material would be used to create an island in the bay. This would become Fiesta Island, which is now a popular recreational area for jet skis, bikes, boats, and for the annual Over-the-Line tournament. As the dredging progressed, the city gave out leases to the newly created land, which gave incentive for development and, more importantly, tax money for the investment of creating Mission Bay. Again, the Spreckels Company would help aid the development efforts, as the trust, which controlled Spreckels' holdings in Mission Beach after his death in 1926, donated 1.5 miles of waterfront land on the bay side of the peninsula. Mission Beach would continue to grow and prosper after World War II and through the 1950s, and would continue to develop well into the 1970s, when the amusement center, which had been renamed Belmont Park, and the Giant Dipper were closed in 1976. Perhaps it was competition from that other park in Anaheim, or maybe seaside amusement parks had just gone out of style when disco had arrived. But by the 1980s, after surviving several fires and becoming a home for local transients, the coaster had become an eyesore in the heart of Mission Beach, and demolition seemed imminent. Fortunately, a group of concerned citizens rose up to fight against the destruction of the Giant Dipper. In a grassroots movement, the Save the Coaster Committee was able to have the Giant Dipper designated as a historical landmark and began to raise the funds to restore the coaster.
It's a tough act to follow. Your Honor, Mayor O'Connor, citizens and councilpersons and press, my name is Locke David Crane, residence 3753 Udall Street in Point Loma. I'm the Publicity Vice President of the Save the Coaster Committee. Yep. I speak today of restoring our vibrant western beach sunsets, the nostalgic ticking of this historic roller coaster. The ghost of John Spreckles himself, proud after the Hotel Dell's recent centennial birthday, now watches our behavior from beyond, and he rejoices at our infinite patience, our financial wizardry, and the slow but effective restoration of his second greatest gift to San Diego.
The actions of the Save the Coaster Committee in their efforts to save the Giant Dipper demonstrated just how much a part of Mission Beach and of the lives of those in that community the coaster had become. Although their efforts were not wholly successful in restoring the coaster themselves, they did nevertheless lay the groundwork which would eventually lead to the 1989 redevelopment of Belmont Park. On August 11th, 1990, the newly restored historic roller coaster was reopened to the public, making it one of only 2 surviving Pryor and Church designed wooden coasters in the world. Local residents who had ridden the coaster years earlier brought their spouses, children, and grandchildren to see and experience the ride that they had ridden when they were growing up. The public response to the ride was so strong that the San Diego Coaster Company ordered a second train, and it was ready by the following spring. Mission Beach has grown into a vibrant community and is widely considered the best beach in San Diego. It is filled with about 4,700 residents who live surrounded by beautiful Mission Bay and over 4,600 acres of parks and wetlands. Mission Beach is a very popular destination for tourists and locals alike, who enjoy skating, walking, rollerblading, biking, jogging, surfing, boogie boarding, and so much more. Mission Beach began with one man's vision to give San Diego a premier resort community. The work and vision of a large collection of people has helped to shape and form Mission Beach into what it is today. It took nearly 100 years of building bridges, roads, parks, rail lines, homes, attractions, boardwalks, and a roller coaster to transform this one little set of seemingly worthless dunes into the community it is today.